Though domestic violence is a crime under the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015, the vice remains a silent killer into society. The death of popular gospel singer Osinachi Nwachukwu has brought the menace to the national discourse. The Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Tallen, has assured that the federal government will ensure that justice is served in the matter of Osinachi Nwachukwu, who allegedly died as a result of unreported serial domestic violence meted out to her by a husband, Peter Nwachukwu. In a statement, the minister said the husband of the late popular gospel artist will be prosecuted. Let's listen to the minister.
We are still mourning our sister Osinachi, the lady with the golden voice, who has suffered so much pain, humiliation, beating, and remained until death. We don't hope to see any of such occurrences. Women must speak out, women must come out. It seems that devil, I won't even call him a man, I won't call him a husband. He's an animal. That's the right word to describe him. Because by the time I interacted with the children and they open up to tell me how he treats them and their mother, and he put pressure on them not to ever open up and tell anybody. Until I use my psychology, I asked everybody to go out, except me and my permanent secretary. And I assured them. In fact, I did not talk to the four of them at the same time. I asked all of them, the nanny, to take them into the room, and I started with the firstborn. I held him and asked him, "Do you love your mom?" He said, "Yes." "Your mom is a good Christian, a singer." "Yes." "Did she teach you how to tell lies?" He said, "No." "Okay. Where is she?" He said, "Their father said that she's no more, she's dead." "Okay, she is dead, but I want to tell you that the dead sees. Your mom is not an angel, she's watching us. And she won't be happy with you if you tell lies." That was how I broke through. And with that words, the boy sat up. He said he would say the truth. And he opened up. When he finished, we took him to the other side of the room and asked the second child. And it was the same. Up to the last, who is 7 years old, the only girl in the home. I'm not advocating or encouraging divorce, but you have to be alive to take care of your children. You have to be alive. Now she's gone. And the children, whoever, even her twin sister, can never play that role the mother plays. She's a twin. But nobody can step into the shoe of a mother. A mother is a mother. And I want to assure you that I'm following this case. I've reported yesterday again in Federal Executive Council. Mr. President is with us on this case, and we will follow it to the latter. I've talked to the at the highest level. The Inspector General is committed. The CIB, the officers in charge, they have vowed to meet that they will stand on the path of truth and to ensure that justice is done. And what I'm emphasizing here is justice delayed is justice denied. We want prompt justice.
Right, that's quite. You've heard it there. The minister, weighing in on this matter, speaking passionately about it. Let me start with you, Mayor Kipelu. You begin to ask yourself, what manner of a man would do that to?
The situation is very, very sad. Very, very sad because, and it has to do. Part of the major problem has to do with religion. You see, religion don't make people reason rationally when it comes to matter. This is a lady that was in church. She met the man in church. The man, they were members of the same church in Dunamis. You understand? The woman has suffered a series of abuse. And she has refused to even tell the pastor of the church. Because I watched the video of the pastor, and the pastor explained that it was after this story broke that he discussed with the twin sister, members of the choir, and all that. And a lot of them said, oh, at every point in time, this woman used to beg that they should not let the pastor know that they are praying and hoping that God will change the man. But people don't change. And that's the mistake that people make, because when you believe in church, you are apparently, maybe because they met in the church, the woman seems to have this godlike respect for the husband. Because I cannot understand when a man will abuse you like the kind of stories we are hearing. You understand? Even don't even allow you. Somebody even told me that there was a time the woman wanted to change clothes and the man refused because the man is the manager and collects all the money and all that. And I wonder why will a man have a lot of hold on a woman like this? I think part of the problem will have to do with the fact that people in a relationship, in an abuse relationship, for example, they have 4 kids together. Imagine the kind of copulation they will have had to have 4 kids together. And the problem with women in abusive marriage is that because these men will apologize and then sleep with them, you understand, they take that sex as expression of love. They will believe that, oh, it's not as if this man doesn't love me, it's just that he cannot help himself. And the man will keep doing the same thing because the man will abuse you and will come back and beg, they will sleep together again, and the woman will keep believing that, oh, this copulation is an expression of love, which is not. Because it's so sad that the woman now the woman is gone. But one of the things I want to stress is that I agree that the series of abuse could have led to what she suffered. But there is a fact, there is a known fact now that she was ill also. She was ill because the doctor, I listened to the pastor of Dunamis who explained that 3 months ago they came to him and the woman complained of upper respiratory problems, and that he now went to ask for a doctor to handle the thing. They said they did CT scan, they had to go to specialist hospital, go to National Pediatric and all that, you know, for those 3 months. And that it was when he went to a crusade in Cameroon that he landed. So it is also established that he was ill, she was ill, and that could have contributed to the death. Right. But the series of abuse cannot be taken away and could be a cause or could be a reason for that sickness that led to her death.
All right, Bikio, let me quickly take your opinion on this, because we've got a guest on Zoom, and when you make your opinion, I'll definitely get to our guest on Zoom. But quickly, according to what Mayor said, he said maybe whenever they come together, the woman tends to forget. According to a Ghanaian proverb that says, a man does not disagree with the wife during hours leading to bedtime. Maybe that was what they were living with, so to speak.
Well, that may not even be the case, because the guy, from what we have read, the guy certainly is a beast. And that kind of person will not even beg her to make love to her. He could even beat her and then proceed. A lot of unwanted sex actually happens in marriages. You come in back home, the woman is tired, she's worked all day long, but you insist on having it. It's still unwanted sex. Yeah. You get my point? So the woman was too fearful of the guy. So in such a situation, we could do anything. If on the snap of his fingers, if he wanted sex, he would give her. I don't think that's the sort of person that will even apologize for anything. He's a beast. Given the stories that even the children have told, that guy was just a beast. We were told that they were traveling on a given day, and he was overspeeding, and the woman said, my dear, you are overspeeding now. And he responded with a slap.
There was even a case.
What kind of human being was that?
Even a case of where the woman was, asked to leave the car, and then the family left her.
Yes, she dropped her by the side of the road, and she was robbed. According to the children, she was robbed on that day. He was said to have kicked her in the chest, and that led to the death. We are waiting for the autopsy. The police the National Hospital, they are saying, we come and tell people about the autopsy now. It's the police that requested for it. They are the ones that will give it to. The autopsy would help us have an idea of what really happened. But for me, I don't think any rational human being deserves to remain in an abusive marriage. Whether it is a man or a woman, why should you remain?
All right.
When you die, just as the minister said, you leave your children behind. Some of them will say, I don't want to live because of my children. When you die, your children will go on with life. You know, it even looks like a beast.
So it's a case of being rational in your decisions and being emotional.
Yes, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing.
Let's go to our guest. Let's go to our guest on Zoom. Joining us via Zoom to shed more light on this issue is the Executive Director, Projector Alert, Josephine Chukwuma. Thank you so much for joining us on Journalist Hangouts on Sunday. What do you make of this whole story? You know, it has not gone without criticisms from people having different opinions about this incident. You know, this is a woman that a lot of Christians, even Muslims, love whenever they hear a song.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be on Journalist Hangout this afternoon. Honestly, for some of us, I personally am just so numb. I'm so numb for so many reasons, because I've been an activist and I've been an advocate for zero tolerance for violence against women, all forms, especially domestic violence, for over 25 years now. What happened to Osinachi seems to be shocking to some of us anymore. We just started, it seems like there's a conspiracy of silence all over. You know, when it now happens, everybody's, oh. And then within a week or 2 weeks, we move on and then wait for the next Osinachi to happen. There are so many Osinachis. She's not the first, she's not the second, and the way things are going, she will not be the last, unfortunately. And that's because there's a conspiracy of silence all over. Be it from the church to the family, even the individual herself, you know, to society. It's all about wanting to be the religious, the pious woman, you know, the ideal woman, that society wants women to be perfect creatures. You know, when your marriage fails, it's you. You didn't work hard. You didn't work hard to save your marriage. You know, if the marriage is good, then it's the man who made it work, maybe. But when it fails, it is all on the woman. We all have contributed to this, to all the Osinachis, and also maybe the Peters, because also some men too now are getting hit by it. So we all are collectively responsible because of the conspiracy of silence. Honestly, it's difficult for me personally to believe that from the church to the society to our, the friends at least have come out to say that they knew. But honestly, I can't really take the statement from the church that they knew nothing. It's all about not see no evil, say no evil. You know, this woman was not a hidden woman. She was not. She was a lead singer or whatever in the church. She was not a hidden person at all. Is it that her mood was not seen? Is it that at some point she was not caught off guard and she was looking sad? Is it that there were not some injuries on her that the people could not have questioned and said, how did you get this injury? You know, or things like that. Because listening to the mother, listening to the sisters, listening to some of the friends that have all said something now, and I'm like, come on, it was all out there. It was all out there. What happened? Why did everybody? Yes, she failed herself, you know, but you know, this thing about beating into submission, I don't know if anyone has read, you know, there's a way that Osinachi she was terrified of that man. And that people did not see that. People close to her. I mean, it just beats my imagination, honestly. Right.
Let me quickly ask you about this. You know, sometimes when you go to your spiritual leader in church and in mosque, they say divorce should not be an option. Just like Bikil also said a little earlier, that you know, talking about leaving your children. What happens when you die? You leave your children eventually. So when should you begin to think about taking an option of divorce, regardless of what people would say?
My brothers, it's so sad that now religion has now been used to enslave people. My understanding of religion, my Christian faith, is that religion is supposed to liberate the human person, liberate you. The Bible is very clear on all these issues, but people choose to manipulate and misinterpret the religious books, be the Quran or the Bible, to suit their selfish ends. Between the sanctity of life and the sanctity of marriage, please, you don't need a soothsayer to tell you that you must be alive to be a wife or a husband. A dead woman or a dead man is a corpse. Is a corpse. You can't choose marriage over life. You choose life over marriage. Be you a bishop, be you a pope, you choose life first over marriage. You know, so religion is always manipulated and misinterpreted. Even in the Catholic Church now, they've realized the you know, it's clear, and it's that look, you can have a separation.
Yes.
And come on, human beings, men and women, please, you need to be alive. Okay, like Jide said, you say you are staying because of the children. You say you are staying because you want to be a pious woman. You want to be holier than thou, or whatever. Okay, what has happened now? What is the fate of those 4 children now? Can anyone just tell me the fate of those 4 children now? No mother, father, facing everything. If everything goes the way it should go, is facing a jail term. So what home have you protected? What children have you saved? They say divorce, the children of divorced parents are bad children. It's the greatest lie. It's the greatest lie on earth. I've seen children brought up with 2 parents, different in a very dysfunctional home, a home that they fight from morning till night and abuse themselves. Is that the home we call marriage? That children will grow up. Look at those children. Look at that 12-year-old boy saying that his father taught him to beat a woman. That told them that to beat a woman is okay. That is a time bomb. That is a boy who will now go and marry somebody else's daughter and say that my papa beat my mama. My mama no die, or maybe she died. That was our business. Me said I'm going to beat you because that is the right thing to do. Is that the marriage? Is that the so-called marriage you are talking about? Honestly, divorce is much better than that. I'm a Christian, but I'll say that. Between the sanctity of life and marriage.
So are you going against I don't know how to put it, maybe it's a marital mantra or a kind of vow that for better or worse, does that exist?
My brother, for better, for worse, define the worse. Please, we need, God has given us all, permit me to use the word common sense. God has given us all common sense. It's unfortunately that some people have decided to outsource their brains. I'm sorry, I have to say the way it is. It's unfortunate that some people have decided to outsource their brains and refuse to think. I took that vow, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, till death do us part. Death not at the hands of my husband, not for me to kill him, not for him to kill me. We need to be quite clear. Let people stop twisting and manipulating things. The Bible even says it. Man, love your wife as Christ loved the church. When Christ loved the church, you did not go pouring acid on, even when people committed sin. You know? Why do we do this? Why human beings have even animals don't treat, fellow animals the way human beings treat fellow human beings. Look at what that guy has done to that lady. Her mother, 4 children, she could not even go for Omugu or whatever. Her own child.
At the end of the day, I think, I don't know where you stand. I think the decision is still for the woman to take or for the man to take. Because
I agree. Yeah.
If she, you see, people always say, it matters between husband and wife. Let's be careful the way we get involved. When you side with one of them today, the next day you see them, they are together, you look like a fool. If the woman does not feel like getting out of the relationship, no matter how, except they forcibly relocate her. It may be impossible.
I agree with you that, and it's a frustration we activists, advocates have on the field, because you can only help someone who wants to be helped. You know, there's this saying that you cannot swallow Panadol on another person's headache. But my brother, at the same time, when you see clearly that life, yes, Osinachi, wherever she may, God rest her soul, she, you know, I mean, yeah, but you need to go much further, deeper than, you know, blaming the victim. Yes, there are a lot of things. She should, if she had really wanted to, we agree. But at the same time, we should also not overlook the fact that, number one, we are in a patriarchal society. We are in an over-religious society, that religion has been manipulated and misinterpreted. We cannot also forget the field, the area she was located in. She was located in, you know, and all of that. We are all products of our various socialization. Some of us have just been able, somehow by the grace of God, to surmount, you know, some of those societal pressures. But so many people are not able to. So many people are not able to. Not everyone will be Josephine. Not everybody will be Babajide, you know, and all of that. You know, so we also need to pay, you know, some attention to that. Yes, at the end of the day, it depends on the victim, on the person wearing the shoe, to say, help me, help. She went home for 1 year. She went home for 1 year or so, I read somewhere. Then the man came and pleaded, you know, and what was used to disarm the parents or the mother, whatever, oh, I'm a pastor, I'm a pastor, I'm a pastor. May God forgive each and every one of us. May God forgive each and every one of us.
Yeah. Let me ask. Madam, talking about domestic violence, based on your experience, do you think men are also victims of domestic violence?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, my brother, men are also victims. Be it emotionally. I mean, men always say that, oh, women, your mouth is always, you know, the abuse women give men, you know, and all of that, you know, and all of that, agreed, and all of that. It can also be physical. I mean, we are aware of women who have killed their husbands too. We are aware of women who have, you know, there are some men who don't even go home till 12 midnight because they just want the woman to fall asleep before they sneak into the house and maybe, you know, just sneak into bed and sleep. So yes, but having said that, if the ratio of which gender is on the receiving end of domestic violence, be it physical, sexual, or psychological, it's more of women. Just like Jide said, you know, when we were talking about somebody, I heard one of the guests one of the persons there say that, okay, men make up and say, okay, let's have sex, and women think that sex ends the problem and all of that. Like Jide said, most times it is forcefully taken. Some women in domestic violence situation experience all three, from the verbal to the physical to the sexual. First abuses the hell out of you, beats you up, and forcefully have sex with you. There are children born in marriage who are products of marital rape. The first quarrelsome or quarreling sex resulted in a pregnancy that a child was given birth to. We've heard that. We've seen that.
Right. So we would like you to advise, you know, young ladies, spinsters, so to speak, who are looking forward to getting married, and what signs should they look out for, you know, during courtship? Because there is a pastor who said that if your fiance slaps you or probably beats you one way, just know that he's going to be a very difficult person to get married to. So what are the signs would you advise young ladies, even men, to look out for before getting into marriage?
I was just about saying that as a mother, and also, I mean, first and foremost, as a mother, and then an advocate and an activist, what I'll tell young people, men and women, especially women, if you understand the fact that this issue of domestic violence tilts more towards women, but not ruling out, even if it is 5% or 10% of men, we can't also rule that out. I tell young people, please, love with your heart, but think with your head. Love is not blind, please. Love has never been blind. We just decide to be blind. the signs are always there. What are some of the signs? Controlling behavior from the very beginning. Possessive, you say you just, it's because he loves me. Come on, there's a difference between love and obsession. If you love something, you don't destroy it. You let it be. You let it flourish. But when in a relationship or in courtship, someone is telling you things like, you're always around your friends. Your sisters are always coming around. Your mother is always calling. Why are you? He's trying to isolate you from people and box you into a corner. He wants to take total possession of you. You know? Also the same side with a man. You know, a man, yes, when you want to marry, of course, you need to make some conscious decision. Okay, I'm getting married now. Okay, if I used to go out every night or every week, okay, I need to reduce as a woman also. Okay, you don't even need a soothsayer to tell you. The freedom I had when I was a spinster visiting, by the time you marry and the responsibility starts coming, you don't even need a soothsayer to tell you. You will know that, what energy do you even have? By the time you're taking care of the children, your work, and all of that. But you see some of those signs from the relationship. Controlling behavior, possessive behavior. Where are you coming from this time? Why are you? You should stop this work now that you're always coming back at night. Yeah, and you know, so those are, and then I don't even want to go to the physical. Right. And then during the relationship, he starts abusing you even verbally. Or if he slaps you, then you still go on, then that means you want a national award for slap. So my advice is, young people, please love with your heart. Love is a beautiful thing. But honestly, don't tell me love is blind. Love is not blind. Love with your heart, but think with your head.
Absolutely. Right. Vicky, gentlemen, you guys are listening with rapt attention, but I think the advice is for me. You guys are already married.
Oh, you mean you're not married? You mean you're not married?
Yes, my boy.
You mean you're not married?
I take the advice. Makes sense. So we say thank you to Executive Director of Project Alert, Josephine Chukwuma. Thank you very kindly for that beautiful insight and beautiful piece of advice.
There are so many people around here who benefit from what Josephine has said today. We just don't like the truth.
Absolutely.
Now, I even see what has happened with the Dunamis Church as negligence. For somebody that important to the church, they deserve to know a lot more about her than the fact that she has singing talent. It's very useful to the church. Ministration, she will be the one to sing before the pastor takes the podium and all that. And this sort of thing was happening for years, years upon years. And they didn't find a way to know. Or the people who knew just kept it to themselves. They are partly culpable for what has happened. And I know that for some of them who have conscience, their conscience will be troubling them that they had the opportunity to save this woman's life and they just didn't use the opportunity. It's unfortunate.
Wow. Quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate.
And I just hope also that the law will not take so long in deciding. The courts will not take so long in deciding this matter, so that we can have proper closure.
Absolutely.
To it and people can learn.
Yeah, it has actually reached the authority, and Minister Pauline Tallen already said that justice would definitely be served.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that
under 30 seconds.
I agree that it's not only Peter that contributed to the death of Osinachi. All the people that knew and didn't say anything because she begged them not to say so are also culpable, because they knew that she was going through a lot of things, and they refused because she begged them on behalf of the man. I don't think they one way or the other contributed to what happened to her.
You said she kept saying the man would change.
People don't change. That's the mistake people make.
From the first day he beat you, you can be sure that he will try it
people
again.
People don't change.
Especially if, I don't know, we did not live with them.
Yeah.
If a man was forced to slap his wife after being provoked, every time he gets provoked, that's what he will do. Especially if beating her up found, kind of calmed things down a little bit.
Because those who beat their wives wants to dominate. They have complex. They have complex. They believe that they cannot control that wife.
Yeah.
So they want to physically subdue the woman.
Physically.
So it's the complex on the part of the man. Because the man believes that, you don't want to listen to me. That's the only way he can subdue the woman.
Anyway, we just pray that may God grant every single person, partners that are coolness of their eyes. So I will just pray for everyone.
I will say amen.
Pray for those who are not single.
Amen.
There's no reason to be selfish as you are. Those who are not single too, they are married. Some of them are going through what Osinachi.
Absolutely.
So if you want to pray,
I should make
the season of Easter,
I should balance it.
Pray for everyone.
So even those who are already married,
yes.
I'm not here to pray. Those who are already married, true, they should also, may God make their wives coolness of their eyes and their husband as well. So balanced.
Your prayer was not good enough.